you're looking for a likable workhorse that is practical, reliable and cheap, both to buy and run, then the 2017 Hyundai i30 should be on your shopping list. On its march to become the largest Asian car company, the Korean firm has been working hard to improve its brand image. The i30 is a clear statement that it's more than capable of keeping up with the Joneses in a sector of the market dominated by some of the UK's best-selling models such as the Volkswagen Golf, Ford Focus and Vauxhall Astra. But there are plenty more rivals to mention, such as the similarly styled Peugeot 308, sister brand Kia's Ceed, the Skoda Octavia, the Brit-built Honda Civic and Renault's stylish Megane. Cabin quality has leapt forward. While it's certainly not a premium proposition in the same way the Audi A3, BMW 1 Series and Mercedes-Benz A-Class are, we're impressed by the quality of the latest i30. The cabin is nicely finished, with a new floating central touchscreen and simple design to the dashboard that makes it very easy to get used to and operate on the move. It's also incredibly quiet, while a choice of 3 engines means there's something there to sate the financial needs of private and company car drivers in equal measure. Automatic and manual gearboxes are on offer, and while the handling isn't as engaging as the Astras or the Focuses, it's not far behind and feels safe and confidence-inspiring on the road, much like the VW Golf. Lots of safety kit and practical cabinet assuredness is accentuated by the introduction of a raft of driver assistance and safety systems, with lane departure warning, traffic sign recognition and autonomous emergency braking available. These combine to bring the i30 into line with the top players in the field, while in typical Hyundai fashion the trim levels feature lots of kit as standard, which means there aren't many optional extras to choose from. It's a practical car too. While it's unable to match the Octavia's capaciousness, it's more than adequate with enough space for 4 adults and a generous and flexible boot. 5-year warranty. The i30 also comes with Hyundai's 5-year, unlimited mileage warranty and the firm's reputation for building incredibly reliable cars. So what's not to like? For the majority of car buyers, not a huge amount. It isn't the last word in exciting driving and the rear seats don't fold flat, but in the main we can see great appeal here. Hot Hyundai i30. And while the regular i30 can be criticized for being a bit vanilla, the same definitely can't be said for the i30N, the brand's first proper hot hatch, producing 275 horsepower from its 2.0-litre turbocharged petrol engine in the spiciest performance package form. There is also a 250 horsepower standard model, forming a choice that's similar to that of the VW Golf GTI. It takes the fight to a raft of incredibly capable, engaging and exciting hot hatchbacks, with the help of the man who used to be vice president of engineering at BMW's M division. Hyundai's not messing around here. Despite the manufacturer's slightly applicant-like reputation, the i30N offers an involving driving experience that feels more than a match for some of the best in class, alongside the more traditional Hyundai pillars including value, generous equipment levels and of course a 5-year warranty. The verdict: it's easy to overlook the i30, especially in such a crowded segment with an enormous amount of other options out there. The Hyundai is still an appealing proposition though, thanks to a generous standard kit list, frugal engines and a good drive. Add to this a comprehensive warranty and plenty of space, and it surely deserves to be on your list of potential family hatchbacks. Click onto the driving section below to continue reading the full Hyundai i30 review. 3 engines, 2 gearboxes. Don't expect thrills. Unless you get the i30N, you've got a choice of 3 engines on the 2017 Hyundai i30, 2 petrols and 1 diesel, along with a pair of gearboxes, a 6-speed manual and a twin-clutch DCT automatic. There's also the i30N hot hatch arriving later in 2017, powered by a turbocharged 2.0-litre petrol. Turbocharged TGDI petrol engines. We were particularly impressed with both petrol engines, badged TGDI. The smaller 1.0-litre 3-cylinder is our choice, pulling with surprising vivacity considering its diminutive size. It's rated at having 120 horsepower and 171 Nm of torque, which means 0 to 62 miles per hour in 11.1 seconds and a 118 miles per hour top speed, but thanks to a clever turbocharging system it's responsive and quite fun at low speeds. At 70 miles per hour on a hilly motorway you have to drop a gear to accelerate, but if you're doing a lot of motorway mileage then the diesel would be better suited to your driving style anyway. Next up is an all-new 1.4-litre turbo engine, which replaces the old 1.6-litre petrol in the previous i30 range. This is a very impressive motor indeed, feeling faster and more exciting than its 140 horsepower/242 Nm performance figures suggest. Officially, it'll cover 0 to 62 miles per hour in 8.9 seconds with a top speed of 130 miles per hour. It doesn't sound particularly good, but it's so quiet on a cruise that you won't mind this. Cruddy diesel power. Your sole diesel option is a 1.6 litre with 110 horsepower/280 Nm, which is claimed to achieve 0 to 62 miles per hour in 11 seconds, or 11.2 with the DCT automatic gearbox. With a top speed of 118 miles per hour. Like the petrols, it's smooth and punchy and is ideally suited to motorway driving as you'd expect. There's less fun to be had on a country lane because of the way the torque is delivered low down the rev range, but it still has the same slick manual gear shift, although it does feel heavier than the agile petrol models. It seems the petrol engines suit the i30's more grown-up character better. Gearbox evaluation. The manual gearbox works perfectly well without being remarkable. The shift action was assured and smooth, if a little light for some, and we didn't find it hard to move up and down the gears as required. We found the twin-clutch DCT automatic to be perfectly serviceable too, though at times a touch frustrating when pulling away from a standstill in a hurry. It would occasionally take a fraction of a second longer than required to transfer the engine's performance to the wheels. With a little forward planning, you can drive to accommodate this issue. However, that's not really the point of an automatic gearbox. Hot hatch. The Hyundai i30N. Sitting at the pinnacle of the i30 range is the i30N, the brand's first real attempt at the hot hatch market. There's a 2.0-litre turbocharged petrol engine under the bonnet producing 250 horsepower in normal guise, and 275 horsepower with the performance pack fitted, which also features uprated brakes, adaptive dampers and just front tires. As you'd expect, there's a difference in 0 to 62 miles per hour times, with the more powerful car setting the pace at 6.1 seconds, 3/10 quicker than the standard version. Although a little way behind some of the more powerful hot hatches, the VW Golf R, Ford Focus RS and Honda Civic, the Hyundai is actually more powerful than mainstream fast 5-doors like the VW Golf GTI and Skoda Octavia VRS. We reckon it's a really fine balance between outright shove and engine responsiveness. Hyundai says it could have tuned the motor to put out more horsepower, but that would have resulted in a less enjoyable engine to use. Regardless of that, the i30N's motor is a punchy unit that produces a fabulous noise from its twin tailpipes. The i30's handling is safe and controlled, but the i30N promises to be excellent. Decent steering feedback. The way the Hyundai i30 handles is impressive. It's not in any way sporty, but more importantly it feels very solid and safe on the road. It inspires confidence in the driver. This is partially thanks to the rear suspension setup, which is a multi-link design that is relatively unusual in a car with such a low entry price point, allowing the firm's chassis engineers to dial in a very predictable and driver-friendly back axle. It means that while it isn't an exciting drive, the i30 is among the safest feeling cars in its class. The steering is good too, if not quite great. There isn't anything approaching sporty response or feedback, but for most drivers it'll prove more than adequate, and crucially, it feels nicely weighted, though less so on diesel models which feel slightly heavier. Parking won't pose too much of an issue thanks to a decent turning circle and good visibility, but only higher-spec cars get parking sensors and/or cameras that help avoid bangs in the car park. Better tires on high-spec cars. It's worth noting that higher-spec models come with different Michelin tires, available on premium and premium C grades or included in the visibility pack on C-NAV cars, so check to see how a lower-spec model performs in terms of grip and noise levels before you buy. What about the i30N? The i30N serves up taut body control combined with well-weighted steering and an agile feel. It's easy to thread together a series of bends thanks to little body roll and responsive steering setup, changeable depending on which mode you're in. It's a car of two halves though. The standard version uses something called torque vectoring, which can help you negotiate tight bends by braking one of the wheels. This is a good system, but it's not as sophisticated or subtle in its delivery as the performance pack car, which uses a limited slip differential to mete out power. The VW Golf GTI, Honda Civic Type R and Peugeot 308 use similar tech, and although all offer a bit more front-end bite, the i30N's diff feels much more progressive, so you hardly feel it working, unlike those rivals. All in all, it's one of the best all-round hot hatchbacks that you can use every single day. Simple and easy to use controls, slick infotainment system, easy to get comfortable compared with its predecessor. This i30's interior has really moved on. The i30 benefits from a heavily reworked cabin, and we're particularly impressed by how quiet it is at motorway speeds, especially when fitted with the petrol engine. All of the parts of the cabin you regularly touch have a quality feel, and now the i30 doesn't feel any worse than its rivals in this respect. In fact, some of the aging models in the class will fall behind here, as the i30's cabin is a very pleasant place in which to while away the miles. Hyundai's latest infotainment system works well, with intuitive menus and a noticeably quicker processor, which means it reroutes the sat-nav rapidly if you stray off course, and thus is very effective if you need to make a diversion. It's also well placed on top of the dashboard, meaning you don't have to stretch very far at all to quickly make changes to the sat-nav, for example. It's also very easy to find a comfortable driving position, thanks to plenty of adjustment in both the steering wheel and the seats, while visibility is good thanks to pillows that aren't too chunky. Inside the i30N there are a few notable changes inside the Hyundai i30N hot hatch, namely the extra buttons on the wheel. One of these turns the rev matching system on and off for the gearbox, while the other two control the car's drive modes. On the left you can select between Eco, Normal and Sport, while the right button cycles between N and N custom performance modes. Quiet and refined interior, comfortable seats and good ride. Should the Golf be worried? The Hyundai i30 is a comfortable car on all roads. The front seats are good, with enough adjustability and bolstering to keep you feeling secure when cornering. It's clear Hyundai has done a lot of work on making the cabin a quiet, peaceful place, and it's paid off in spades. It's remarkably quiet with the petrol engines. The diesel's clatter does intrude, but not as markedly as on some other cars in the class. In the main, it's every bit as refined as a Volkswagen. The ride quality is excellent on various road surfaces, if a fraction firmer than the best in the class, but overall it strikes an impressive balance as it's composed in corners yet comfortable for when you're just cruising. Even the hot i30N is a comfortable daily cruiser, with low noise levels and elastic feeling adaptive suspension, so long as you pick one of the non-performance drive modes. Firmed up in N mode, the i30 is noticeably firmer and more purposeful, but still absorbs lumps and bumps well. All models well equipped, few options to add. Go for a mid-range model or higher. The trim structure is comprised of 5 levels: S, SE, SE-NAV, Premium and Premium SE, and as is usually the case with Hyundai cars, there aren't many optional extras on offer to personalize the car further. Standard Hyundai i30 equipment. The i30 range starts with base spec S-trim, 15-inch alloys, LED day running lights, stab radio with USB and ON connection, Bluetooth phone connectivity, electric windows, all-round height adjustment for driver's seat moving up to say secures you, 16-inch wheels, front fog lamps, 5.0-inch LCD touchscreen, rear parking sensors, rear view camera, leather steering wheel as the name suggests, SE-NAV trim nets, sat-nav displayed on an 8.0-inch touchscreen, voice recognition, wireless phone charging. The jump to premium means you get 17-inch alloys with Michelin tires, dual zone climate control, electronic parking brake with hill hold function, tinted rear windows, heated front seats, fake leather and cloth upholstery, electrically adjustable driver's seat, front and rear parking sensors, blind spot detection, LED front headlights and taillights at the top of the range. Premium SE adds panoramic glass sunroof, leather upholstery, heated steering wheel, optional Hyundai i30 hatchback accessories. There aren't many optional extras on offer here to further personalize your i30. Hyundai has long included so much kit as standard on its trims that the firm doesn't need a large portfolio of add-ons. As a £1,000 option on SE-NAV models, the visibility pack includes dual LED headlights, 17-inch alloys and dual-zone climate control. There are 11 colors to choose from and all except 2 are cost options. 5-star Euro NCAP rating, impressive array of kit, 2 ISOFIX points in the rear. The Hyundai i30 hatchback received a Euro NCAP rating of 5 stars in 2017, and it includes an impressive array of safety kit as standard. All models get lane departure warning, a forward collision warning system, automatic braking and hill start assist. Each car also gets Bluetooth. As you move up the trims, LED headlights become available alongside an electric parking brake, front and rear parking sensors and a blind spot detection system. The rear outer seats feature ISOFIX child seat lashing points, front, side and curtain airbags, a tire pressure monitoring system and speed-sensitive automatic door locking. Decent-sized boot and cabin rear seats don't fold flat. Taller passengers may struggle in back. The interior of the i30 offers a similar amount of space as something like the Vauxhall Astra and Renault Megane. There's plenty of room up front with an airy feel and plenty of adjustment in the seats, while those in the rear benefit from plenty of headroom. Where they might struggle is if a taller person is sitting in the front, as legroom isn't as generous as in the VW Golf, for example. Like most cars in this class, a passenger in the middle rear seat will have to compete with other passengers for somewhere to put their feet. Still, there's plenty of space to store extra bits and bobs with extra storage areas dotted throughout the cabin. The i30 isn't a large car, meaning it's very easy to drive along tighter roads and to maneuver in town. There's also plenty of glass and small pillars, which really assists with visibility, especially in tighter spaces. Parking sensors are standard fit on much of the range as well, while a parking camera is available higher up the range, which only helps things further. The boot measures 319.5 liters with the rear seats up and 1,301 with them folded, which puts the i30 among the best in its class, trailing only the likes of the Skoda Octavia and its enormous boot. Unfortunately, that back bench, which splits into two for added flexibility, doesn't fold completely flat, so loading larger objects could be problematic.